Hi, this is John Bates with the Eastern Oregon Agricultural Research Center. Several weeks ago, information was presented on the dangers of livestock ingesting poisonous plants. This week I'll provide some additional information on other toxic plants that can pose threats to livestock health. Broom snakeweed is a perennial weed common on many rangelands. Livestock, particularly cattle, have been poisoned in large numbers from eating snakeweed. Snakeweed is most toxic in the spring. Cattle eat snakeweed only when other feed is scarce. Death to stock may occur, but the principal effect of poison is to cause the fetus to be aborted. Cows that abort typically retain the placenta and may develop serious internal bacterial lesions. These cows are at risk unless properly treated by a veterinarian. Consumption of ponderosa pine needles also can cause the calf to be aborted. Lupin species are common throughout the Great Basin rangelands. They are poisonous to cattle from the time they start growth in the spring until seed pods shatter in summer or fall. Young plants are more toxic than older plants. However, plants in the seed stage in late summer are especially dangerous because of the high alkali content contained in the seeds. Cattle may be poisoned by eating 1 to 2.5 pounds of lupin. Smaller amounts are poisonous if cattle eat lupin daily for 3 to 7 days. More common than direct toxicity, some lupin alkaloids produce birth defects in cattle if eaten between the 40th and 70th day of pregnancy. Cows eating lupin during this period often give birth to calves with cleft palates, crooked legs, and malformed spines. Greasewood is a range shrub that livestock can generally eat safely in moderate amounts when consumed with other forage. Death occurs when livestock eat large amounts in a short period of time. Losses generally occur in the fall, winter, and spring from the consumption of large quantities of leaves that have fallen to the ground or from consuming early growth in the spring. The plant toxins are sodium and potassium oxalates. The amount of toxin contained in plants can vary considerably by geographic area. Toxicity usually increases as the growing season advances. Poison in livestock is similar to that caused by halogeton. Consumption of 1 pound of green leaves and stems for sheep or 3 to 4.5 pounds for cattle can provide a lethal dose. Chokecherry is another plant that may cause livestock poisoning when drought and overgrazing reduce the availability of grasses and other forage. Chokecherry tends to be found in riparian areas, around seeps, and on lee sides of ridges where snow is accumulated. Animals become poisoned if they eat large quantities of leaves in a short period of time. Both sheep and cattle may be poisoned by chokecherry. Chokecherry contains hydrocyanic acid. This acid inhibits cellular respiration and the animal's ability to use oxygen. For a 1,000-pound cow, ingestion of about 2.5 pounds of leaves can provide a lethal dose. Wilted leaves as well as fresh leaves are poisonous. This past month we spent a couple weeks on the effects of poisonous plants to livestock. Specifically covered were species of larkspur, milk vetch or locoweed, lupin, death camas, snakeweed, and several woody plants. Their effects to livestock range from loss of condition and productivity to the death of individual animals. There are many other plants that we did not cover in any detail, but which livestock owners should be aware of in the northern Great Basin. They include halogeton, western and water hemlock, arrowgrass, and several species of horsebush and milkweed. To protect or reduce stock losses to these plants, learn to identify them, understand when these plants can be dangerous to livestock, graze range at the proper time, do not overutilize good forage, which may force consumption of toxic plants not normally eaten, and control poisonous plants when feasible. Thanks for your time. Listen again next week for the Oregon Ag Minute.